this corner group showcased the depth in this draft in 2023. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Coming back into another analysis video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. And we're looking at the NFL drafts available corners that showed up to perform here at the Combine. And man, they did not disappoint. So let's look at some risers and fallers, draft stock up and draft stock down for some of these fellas. So let's get into it. First, let's look at Deonte Banks here, the cornerback out of Maryland. He's got good size, man. He's thick. Pause. So he's about $197, or he showed up at $197. Explosive in both the vertical and broad jumps, which are a good indicator for a fast 40, and he blazed it at 4.35, coming in I think about 6 foot, and he played at about 200 something pounds, but slimmed down a little bit here. But man, he doesn't have ideal wingspan and arm length, but he's projected to be a top 50 pick, and I'm guessing that he did nothing to discount himself. I mean, he could sneak into the first round because there's an expected run of corners to go. There's an expected run on corners. So those top three: Gonzalez, Witherspoon, and Joey Porter Jr. And people say it's Witherspoon, Gonzalez, and Porter. Those two can be interchangeable for most people, but we got some news coming in on all of those guys, man, except for Porter. But I'll throw him in there in the mix anyways. Christian Gonzalez, man, he has a track background, and with his sisters run track down in Miami. So them girls is fast. People in Miami just got them fleet of foot. But anyways, he measured in at under 6'2", 6'1", and 3/8. $197. He also slimmed down a little bit for this combine. But both him and Banks are played at over 200 at college, and he ran a freaking 4.38 at that size. His broad jump and vertical also very well, comparable to Deonte Banks as well, but Deonte was just more athletic a little bit. He also has average arm length, but yeah, he's just so freaking smooth. You can't help but fall in love with this guy watching his tape. He's just so fluid. He reminds me of Revis, man, and his fluidity. And Revis is I think a bit more physical, but I mean that's coming from a corner who he's just a prototype. And what you want is a guy, shorter, 5'11", but man, did he pack a punch. But yeah, I think he's just separated himself with his fluidity and just how smooth he is, man. In and out of breaks. He's effortless catching the ball. His back pedal, tremendous. Just that transition, effortless. And he's efficient with his movements. And the ball catching drill, he just elevated to get one off target throw. And I mean, he's going to be in competition to go as the first corner taken off the board. I like him. I'm hoping the Eagles trade back and then get him in the teens. Make it 14 to 15. They can find a trade partner because the quarterbacks, I think they'll go quick. And that quarterback market is going to set how the other picks get devalued and fall down, precipitously or not. Maybe just a short slide. So we'll see how that plays out. But man, I loving the kid's tape. People saying that he isn't physical. The guy form tackles like a motherfucker. He just exemplifies what you want out of your DB coming up to make the hit, at least form wise. And I don't want him being a cover 2 corner, being that physical. I don't want to burn him down. He can play zone. He can play off man. I mean, just that level of fluidity. He's not taking false steps. He can run with them in the hip pocket. He can play press man. We'll see if whether they have the strength to do it when they hit the bench. But I just believe that he's gonna be a solid guy as well. A track guy. You have to have muscles from the top of your head to the tip of your toes to be able to get the most out of exerting pressure on the ground and moving forward at a quick rate, fast rate, and even rhythmically pound that ground. Pause. But yeah, I loved what I saw from him. So let's move on to Brandon Hill, a safety here. Um, Saying here is a likely day 2 pick. Not a huge guy, 5'10", a buck 93. But he ran an outstanding 4.43 for the position. With that split 1.5, just that's almost top class there. 1.4 you get into elite territory. But a former pit star here, high point in the ball. He moves well, but he has some tight hips, so not going to be a corner here. Maybe an emergency corner if need be. But yeah, zone coverage is going to be his home, his abode. So yeah, I mean, these are, like I said, these are maybe guys to look at, but like I said, day 2, I don't think we're definitely not gonna. He's probably gonna be out of range for where the Eagles want to draft him in the middle, maybe 3rd, 4th round, and yeah, he's too good of a pick in this draft to be caught hanging around. Jartavius Martin here, him and Sidney Brown, man, they just were kind of interchangeable. That whole Illinois backfield, both corners and safeties, ran into 4.4s. So it was like they just had talent back there. Sidney, not Sidney, Witherspoon didn't run, but all his teammates, both safeties and the other corner, proved themselves, acquitted themselves very well. He ran a 4.46. Sidney Brown ran a 4.47 at safety. So I mean, like, both of those guys just awesome. He ran a blistering 1.47 10-yard split, which is just, like I said, in the elite category, and just shows that he gets there very quickly. He arrives quickly. He's calling FedEx because he's coming like that. Straight line speed, well, okay, and his transitions were really good, and it seems to be this is why he was trusted, at corner, safety, and nickel. So a good utility guy. So maybe the Eagles look there to cover themselves as use him as an insurance in break in case of break glass in case of emergency, because Avonte Maddox, our pit safety, has been proven to be made of glass, and he can't be relied on over the course of a now 17-game schedule. So we'll see how we prep for his eventual loss, projecting, because he's going to be signed running through 2024. But if he can't stay on the field, then your best ability is availability. And if you can't provide that, you can't be relied on. All right, DJ Turner, people are so caught up in his 40, and he had an excellent 1.47 split, as well as same as the safety above. But he's a 5'11" guy, weighed in on only at a buck 78. Because he expected to be fast. He showed his explosiveness. But he didn't partake in on-field drills, so why he doesn't want to get exposed. And so like his movement and stuff like that. I just really want to see him move laterally and stuff like that. That size, I mean, like you're not gonna really use too much of that on the part, in the part of being a nickel safety in the phone booth, because playing inside and outside, inside, outside, the outside, inside are completely different things. As a corner, it takes a whole different set of skills. Being able to also check running backs coming to that area, tight ends. So I mean it's a whole different task, which makes it all the more challenging. Inside nickel, and he's slighter frame, and then I mean, like, he's not gonna be able to use too much of that blistering speed there. So his lateral movements are gonna be very important as well. So I'm not moving from a day 2 to day 3 pick, but I don't think he's the prototypical outside corner that is gonna really catch teams' eye to be a draft priority. All right, and here we go, unfortunately, to stock down, man. These guys are not down bad, but they need to rely on their pro days, or just show things that they can't be on their control, that hurts their draft stock. And we start one with Emmanuel Forbes, who came in, ran a nice 4.35 40, but Banks ran the same one, and he's a buck 97. He's only a buck 66, and okay, if he was a diminutive guy, I could see that, but he is over 6 feet. which means he has a thin rail frame, and it's just like I just feel like he's gonna get pushed around in the pros, unless he just is an exceptionally strong guy, but just leverage and like you can't help your body mass. Yeah, he gets there fast, but he's lighter than other guys, so it's going to hurt his ability to fight for those jump balls, to hand fight with guys at the line, and just in areas where he's at a standstill. His inertia is gonna be a moot point. Imagine him going up against DK Metcalf. He's a buck 66. DK is 230, almost pushing 240, and he's faster than you. DK ran a 4.33. He's faster than you, and you can't physically match up with him. You're shorter as well. Gonna eat you alive. So I don't see him like maybe being a number 2 corner. He can get away with that, but still, he's gonna come across guys that present him problems. Especially dealing with guys. Maybe number 2 is possession receiver, and it's not gonna end well for him. So I mean, hopefully he can be the exception, but as in many facets of life, don't treat the exception like the rule. All right, Brandon Joseph, Notre Dame safety here, ran a slow 4.62 at 202, and just didn't show really much athleticism. Looked slow in transition. It wasn't fluid. So I mean, that's gonna drive draft stock. You got to go back to the tape and see, as a coordinator, how can you put this kid in positions to be successful and capitalize on that draft stock, not being as strong as, maybe you thought. He was All-American in 2020, but he transferred. And then what was the reason behind that as well, so not sticking it out with the original program. Yeah, it's not even that it's red flags. It's just he came out and kind of was average. So, who knows? Maybe he can just be, some guys play above their, their tested times and stuff like that, or just show extreme instincts and football IQ. Their intelligence and smarts carry them, and this just might have to happen with this guy. Who knows? Clark Phillips, Utah cornerback, measured only 5'9" and ran a 4.51, and at 144 whoosh. You messed up my college, post college weight, but yeah, at 184 pounds, yeah, he's light and he's average for the cornerback position, and he's gonna be a slot. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, he could do with that, but like I said, the other guy above, it's not a priority position. Him being a slot guy, and then it's just, we're gonna need you to be a little bit faster. So he kind of played himself out of that top 50 ranking for now, or slotting, and maybe he can make up for it at his pro day. But he did pick a lot of balls, 6 balls this past year, but those dimensions are always going to be limiting, and he lost his balance making cuts too, so it doesn't do good for his lateral quickness and agility. Yeah, it is what it is, buddy. And not last, but we look here at Keely Ringo. I mean, I was just like, damn, how does he fit in this category? Just like he's 6'1", 207 pounds, and it just he's got a huge frame as a corner. He's thick, because he's not like 6'4". He's not gangly. He's 207. But his arms, 31 and a half, 1/4 inches, and hand measured 8.5 inches. Small. Small on the smaller side for a corner. He needed to come up and jam. I think for me, for my size, I have big mittens, and man, my length. I was made to play corner. Best corner, never played the game. But you're not even here though, so you're not even listening to me be boisterous. But he came out blazing 4.36. That was expected, but the explosiveness didn't translate over to the vertical and the broad. And it's always kind of like a warning sign. So maybe his lateral quickness is not so good. But we could see that his fluidity wasn't up to par. Unexceptional is not a word you want to be tied to. So his draft stock might take a little bit of a hit. But I think he'll still probably go in the first round, but just more so towards the back end, which, it could be a guy that Eagles look at, but I'm not impressed. I want one of those top three, and then he's an extreme fallback plan for me for the Eagles. And here, lastly, we look at Devin Witherspoon, the corner out of Illinois, and he pulled a hammy, so not good. And his dimensions 5'11", $181. Yeah, he just didn't scream a top 10 pick, and like I said, I'm worried for this guy. Yeah, it just he's gonna get bullied, bullied in the league, and yeah, I mean, there's some guys that come in and play. Like I said, Darrell Revis came in and played at a $180, $190, $193, but he's thick. This guy is on the thinner side. So yeah, he was like the number one corner as far as passer rating, like 25 point something, 0.4, 0.3, which is excellent. But he's more like a Denzel Ward. I mean, he'll be like, maybe he could elevate eventually to be a top 10 corner, but his physical dimensions will keep him from being ever being that top guy. So I mean, Reeves is special. This guy he doesn't scream special to me. He screams like he could be a very good player, but not. I think Gonzalez has a higher ceiling than him, as well as Joey Porter Jr. So that's just me. I mean, I like the guy, but yeah, that's about it. All right, let's look into some other things here. Let's see. All right, the Cowboys are set to tag Tony Pollard. Sorry. This just signals the end of Zeke's tenure in Dallas. They're not going to carry two quarterbacks. Well, not even quarterbacks. Two running backs on the roster who have a combined cap number of $16 million. Somebody's got to go. And Zeke, he had a plodding 3.8 yards per carry this past season, and just didn't look like the guy. Even last season, he didn't look like the guy that his first couple years in the league, and it just attributed to the running back position getting beat up. Those guys, they come in, take all that contact, those hits, and Zeke had 1,000 yards his first 4 seasons. Barring his third year, he had 983, and that was with a lengthy suspension for his offseason trials and tribulations. But yeah, I mean, still gonna be serviceable as a power back, but gonna be out of there in Big D, and just that contract, it was ill-advised, for them to give him such a long-term big contract. But Jerry loves his guys, his players. He's committed to them, faithful to them, and it played out over these past couple seasons. But I believe he gets cut, and Pollard had a clean break in that leg, that fracture. So most likely he'll be healed up, and they're going to focus more on him moving forward, which I think is a good move for them. Like, damn it, Dallas, don't make good moves. But that's about it for today's news. We're going to get up out of here. But as always, because you're not even watching, though. It's all good, though, because fly, Eagles, fly. Damn, I hit my hand. And let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.